Guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time here on my channel, here I am giving you my story of how my husband and I went through the Naca program to buy our very first ever home, and just sharing the struggles, sharing the experiences, things that we could have done differently, just sharing all of that information with you guys to kind of help you navigate your way to get through the Naca program to become qualified and buy your very first home, or your second or third, whichever one it is to you. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you are interested in watching our journey as we navigated our way to becoming qualified and to the closing, then I will link my playlist up above and you can go back and check out those videos as well. And to all of my returning subscribers, I really do appreciate you coming back to check out your girl. So in today's video, I wanted to kind of give you heads up in regards to expenses that you're going to be paying when it comes down to your closing. Your mortgage counselor will go over the information with you once you are under contract. So you have to first pick out a home, first off, after you are qualified. And so once you pick out a home that you really love, you really like, you're going to submit that information to your real estate agent. They're going to submit it to Naca and so forth. Then you're going to go under contract. So while you're under contract, your mortgage counselor is going to give you all the details about your HOA, if you're going to have one, about your homeowner's insurance, and then also about your property taxes. Now, I was kind of caught off guard about property taxes because as a first-time homeowner or home buyer, I had no idea that my husband and I were going to have to pay property taxes up front. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 months of property taxes up front. I'm talking about several months. So she told us that we were going to have to pay property taxes. She broke it down for us. She did the calculations. And I still wasn't understanding it because I was just under the impression that I would go to closing, you got my earnest deposit, take away all the fees from the earnest deposit, and then see if I'm left with anything. But she explained to me that because of the time of the year that you are closing, you would be required to pay upfront property taxes as well as upfront homeowners insurance. And so when she broke it down to me and she explained it to me, I was like, okay. She said, don't worry, you won't have to pay anything up front, but when you get to closing, all of the expenses will be deducted from your earnest deposit. And as you guys know, my earnest deposit was $7,500. And the builder that we used, they require on all of their homes a $7,500 down payment or earnest deposit. So that really kind of helped us to be able to get a refund back because our expenses at closing was not going to exceed $7,500. So that is one of the reasons why we received money back at closing. And I'll link that video up above if you are interested in details as to how we got the money back at closing. So when she explained it to us, she said that you would be required to pay 10 months of upfront property taxes. And I was like, 10 months? That's a whole year. She was like, I know, but this is what's required. Basically, depending on the time of the year that you closed. So we went under contract December of 2019. And as we were under contract, of course, our home was being built in the process. So then we closed on our home in April of 2020. So my mortgage counselor was like, you're going to have to pay 10 months worth of property taxes, and this is the amount that you're going to have to pay. And then that entire amount that we were going to have to pay at closing was going to be deducted from our earnest deposit. So we were still good because we weren't going to have to come out of our pocket for anything at closing because our earnest deposit was such a large amount. I wanted to let you guys know that as you are going through the process, as you are looking for a home, I wanted to let you guys know that there are going to be things that you are going to have to pay at closing, But don't be alarmed, because your mortgage counselor should go over the information with you. And then once you get to closing, that information is going to be in your closing disclosure as well. Now, on my closing disclosure, my initial closing disclosure, the information wasn't on there because as the home was being built, they really didn't have the figures right then and there. So they had to wait until the home was completely done. And once I received my final closing disclosure, when it came down to the closing, all the information was there. Everything lined up. Depending on what time of the year you close will determine how many months of property taxes you will have to pay upfront at closing. So another expense that you will have to pay upfront, which will be due at closing, is your homeowner's insurance. Now, whatever your homeowner's insurance is, whatever that premium amount is that you're going to be expected to pay per month, they're going to take the first year of your homeowner's insurance. And all of that goes into escrow because, as you know, the bank pays your taxes and your insurance for you. You don't pay it directly. The bank pays it. So your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes, when you pay both of those amounts up front at closing, that amount is then deposited into your escrow account. So at the end of the year, when it's time to pay your property taxes and insurance, then the bank will do that on your behalf. But you will be required to pay 12 months worth of homeowners insurance at closing as well. So another expense that I incurred at closing was HOA. So I bought my home in April of 2020, and my HOA is due twice a year. The first payment is due in February, and then the second payment is due in May. So when I bought my home, I did not have to pay for February for the HOA because technically I was not in the home at that time. But once I bought the home, then I had to pay for my May's HOA because I had bought my home, I closed on my home in April, and so then my May HOA payment was due. And that amount is also paid upfront at closing. So whenever you close on your home, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, and then if you have an HOA, your HOA, property taxes, and homeowner's insurance will all be added together, and those are the amounts that will be in your minimum required funds when it's time to come down to closing. So at closing, basically everything was pretty much explained to the T. There were no hidden fees, no hidden expenses that I had to come out of my pocket and pay for. And like I always tell everybody, we did receive money back at closing, and it was an actual check that they gave to us at closing. So once we signed all of the documents, once everything was submitted over to the bank, everything was signed over by the bank and whoever else, you know, they gave us the money back at closing, and we could do whatever we wanted to with that. So I wanted to come on and just let you guys know that at your closing, you will not incur any additional expenses other than what is already explained to you. Your mortgage counselor should explain everything to you before you get to closing. And if you feel like they're not explaining everything to you that you should know about, then reach out to your mortgage counselor. But when my husband and I got to our closing, everything was broken down. They gave us all the calculations. They showed us everything that came out of our earnest deposit. They showed everything. They did not leave not one detail out. So I just wanted to come on and let you guys know that that is to be expected when it comes down to closing. You will have to pay for upfront property taxes, upfront homeowners insurance, and if you have an HOA, you will have to pay that upfront as well. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and also hit that red subscribe button below and come join the family. And so if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. And I hope once again you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.